When I think about my childhood, and my teenage years, I think about suffering, and I think about pain, and all the things that I wasn't capable of doing. Hey health heroes, welcome back to Adamimmune, the channel all about helping you improve your autoimmune health naturally. I cannot see. I wanted to talk about something I couldn't sleep. It's just on my mind, and I guess maybe after I share I'll be able to get some sleep finally. So I want to answer the question today: is it okay for us to be angry? Like, is our anger justified? Those of us that are suffering from autoimmune disease and other chronic diseases, is it justified? I hear a lot of people talking about how they're so angry, and I totally get it. I have moments like that as well, so I can certainly relate. And this kind of leads into, I was sort of robbed of my childhood. 13 years old, I started to get afflicted with this, and I wasn't stage 3 back then. It took a few years for me to actually get to that point. I try not to think about it all the time, because it is kind of frustrating. Like, I was laying in bed and I was thinking about it, and I was, I try not to think about the past so much. I try to think about the future, just thinking what's ahead of me, what great things are to come. I try not to think about what I've lost, because I know I can't get that back. That's gone. Like, my childhood is gone. It sucks. Sure, it sucks. I was 13. I wasn't able to go out and play sports because it was just, frankly, it was just too painful to walk or run. So, I couldn't do anything physical. In fact, right after I, did get this disease, I sort of started acting out, and I didn't realize it till later on, but I started acting out, and that's when I was actually pulled from school for a short time. My parents decided to homeschool me for just 6 months. I didn't really understand it at the time, and I didn't know why I was going through this, and I didn't even know that it wasn't normal. I thought everybody was going through the same thing. I had no way of knowing, So yeah, I sort of kind of went introverted a little bit. Who's to blame for this? Is our anger really justified in this? Should I be angry at myself? And a lot of people seem to be, they don't know where to point it, So a lot of people just kind of point it inwards because they don't know how to vent that, how to let that go. I could certainly get that. And if you think I'm going to give you a good tip for this, no. I can't just tell you just to let it go, because it's not that easy. I hate when people tell you that. They try to just, oh yeah, just let it go. It's fine. Yeah. If it were that easy, everyone would be doing it, right? Now, I'm very fortunate to, I don't believe in blaming anyone for my problems, even if it was caused by them. It just doesn't do any good, right? Just lingering on that and just steaming over it and just, staying angry and holding grudges or anything, it doesn't do any good. So, if I could blame myself, right? But I didn't know about nutrition, and again, I am in autoimmune complete remission because of my diet, but that's a side fact. A lot of you HS sufferers and autoimmune sufferers aren't in remission. I know that, and so that doesn't really mean anything to you. Maybe it's a little bit of hope, but like a pot at the end of the rainbow. But right now, when you're suffering, it really doesn't mean anything, and I know that. I really do. I know suffering. Okay, HS is the third most painful chronic disease that exists. So, and I had stage 3, so I was the worst of the worst of it. Okay, I was falling apart at the seams, and I'm just not an angry person. So, and I think that's because I don't blame other people. I feel like being a health hero, just being a hero overall, is not about blaming others. Like, maybe it's somebody else's fault. Who am I going to blame? My parents? They didn't know about nutrition either. They didn't know about all these foods that cause these autoimmune diseases, disorders, issues. And there are other issues as a factor too. There are a lot of contributing factors. But I can't blame my parents. They didn't know about nutrition. It's not like they had this information, right? They're not nutritionists or dietitians or biophysicists like Sarah Ballantyne. I didn't have that at my disposal. But is there someone that I should be blaming? Should I blame the government? Because yes, they had the data, they had the information available to them, but it seems like these public interest groups, they have something else as a priority besides our health. I think the people that work these groups, they do care about people. I think as individuals, but as groups, money seems to become a priority, and that's sad. It's sad that that's even a factor, really. But it is, and that's reality, because money is power, and money controls things, and it gets things done. It's action in this world. I'm not angry, but when I think about my past, I do get frustrated, so I just try not to think about it. I mean, they say childhood, our youth is supposed to be the best time of our lives, right? And I don't have that. I don't have that to look back on. When I think about my childhood, I think about, in my teenage years, I think about suffering, and I think about pain, and all the things that I wasn't capable of doing, like all my friends were doing. Relationships were completely impossible. I mean, fun to think about. Imagine, dream. That was me, just a dreamer. Even up till a few years ago, I was 28 before I found remission. So, I had to become a man while living in hell. And I know a lot of you can relate to that. You became who you are now through this suffering. So, for me to say, to be mad, it's like I almost appreciate what I have now because of what I went through. But of course, you're not going to appreciate that if you're not in remission. So that means nothing to you. I get that. And I know how offensive that probably sounds. That you should appreciate your curse. That your blessing comes from your curse. That you became more. You built character. You became stronger because of this. Well, not yet, right? Maybe for some of you. And I hope many of you are in remission like me. And I know a lot of you are, but I know most people aren't, and I know most of you are working on it, and you're health heroes, and you're putting your health first, and you're sacrificing. It's not fun. I know it isn't fun at all. Is it worth it? Yeah, it's totally worth it. And does it take time? Sure, a lot of time. Keep going, because I don't want the suffering to be prolonged even more for anyone, and I feel like, I just don't want anybody to suffer like I suffered. Sure, I want to think that everything has a purpose and there was a meaning to it. We want to give meaning to our suffering, because meaningless suffering, well, that's just depressing, right? And I'm not depressed. I'm a super happy person. I probably sound, oh no, that's even worse. I probably sound depressed, but no, I'm just tired, guys. It's like, I don't know, midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that. I went to bed about an hour ago, and I couldn't fall asleep. I just had this on my mind. I know a lot of us, we suffer with psychological issues because of this disease. It's just as equal as a physical trauma, this mental trauma that we live with every day, and I'm just trying to not hide from it, but just not become it. I really feel like we have to be more than that, right? And because if you say you're just your autoimmune disease, or if that's all you think about, then that really is all you will be. You are what you think about. Anger just doesn't do any good, unfortunately. It's just an unnecessary emotion 99% of the time. And I hope you guys can find a way past that. And hey, if you know a good tip, leave it in the comments below. Hopefully you guys read the comments and you can find some helpful information there, because I'm not really the expert on that, to be honest. I just want to say that I feel for you, and I'm sorry that you're suffering. I'm sorry, and I just want to say there is hope for most of us. Just have to stick with it, okay? If you haven't subscribed, do that, because more tips to come. Even though there was no tips in this video. Sorry about that. I just had to get this off my chest. Sometimes I just have to use this channel as therapy for myself. and I do feel better. So thank you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.